Welcome to the Wolverine Digest podcast, the best spot for objective and authentic coverage of Michigan athletics. If you want open dialogue, honest opinions, and in-depth coverage of the maize and blue, this is the podcast for you. And now, here's your host, Brandon Brown, joined as always by Chris Breiler.
I was going to start by saying go blue.
Chris is apparently taking a phone call currently. Didn't see that coming, but hey, here we are on a Friday night. Friday night's an interesting one. We've everything cool over there?
Yeah, no, I was actually just on the I've taken a lot of calls today like this. I was just on the phone with Jim Harbaugh himself. Actually, he was asking me about page 12 of my game plan for tomorrow, and he wasn't sure about the 32 veer right. And I don't know, man. I feel like I put time into this. I put effort into this. You know,
what are we doing? This is all news to me.
This is my Illinois game plan right here.
Wow.
I've spent weeks crafting a game plan for Illinois just to make sure I'm doing my part, Brandon.
So okay. I know where we're going.
Doing my part. I want to make sure I'm doing everything I can to help this team. I had a few suggestions, so I sent them over to Harbaugh and said, hey, take a look.
Well done. Well done, sir. I know where this is headed.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get to it. But yeah, I was going to say, I thought you were going another direction. I was about to say, like, okay, so is this page 12? They probably only got to like page 9 or 10 so far this year. So we're talking like 3 or 4 additional pages of offense that we just haven't even seen.
Well,
yet.
This is the good stuff that Jim and I discussed. And we're like, you know what? There's no point in holding it back anymore. Like, let's let it loose. Let's do veer right 32. Why not?
Yeah.
There's no point in holding it back.
Yeah, no, that's good. We'll get to it. Maybe that's what we come out of the gate with, because we have, like we were talking about before we started, we've got quite a few different segments on a Friday. It's our busiest show in terms of individual segments. We've got over-unders, we've got predictions, you're dumb, you're smart, Big Ten, Big Lame, and then, of course, we talk about the Michigan game, the predictions specifically for that one. Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff to get to. It's a busy show on a Friday. And, we've talked about this before, too. People are busy on Friday nights. There's probably a lot of folks out to dinner right now. The numbers usually go up the longer we're on. So we want to make it a great show. I'm not saying what we're going to do at the beginning is going to suck, but maybe we started off with a little soapbox. How are you Are you feeling frisky?
You know what? Listen, man, the last 2 days on social media have just been such a pain in the ass, And I really want people in the comment section. I want help with this, because I feel like I asked the question on Facebook and it was taken the wrong way. It was taken as if I was trying to insult the good fella who basically suggested to me that, you know what? Yeah, Ohio State is a big game, Chris, but you need to lock in and you need to focus on Illinois. And so specifically I asked, what is it as a fan that I can do from my standpoint to really help the team on Saturdays? And is looking ahead really a detriment to what the outcome could be on Saturday? And so I'm curious out there, if you are one of those fans who's tuning into the show right now, please help me understand first help me understand the 1 week at a time mindset. And then also help me understand how that makes any difference whatsoever on the outcome on Saturday. Like, I want to know, what are you doing? Are you exercising more that week? Are you practicing your chants in the living room? Are you going over plays? Are you watching game film? Like, what are you doing that this whole 1 week at a time mindset is really making a difference? Because I got to be honest, I put something out about Ohio State being 9 days away yesterday, and I was bombarded. I'm not just saying 1, 2, 5, 10, 15 people. I'm talking dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of people suggesting that I focus on the task at hand. And I'm just not really sure what more I can do.
What are you doing over there, dude? We got a game tomorrow, bro.
This is what I'm doing right here, Brandon. You see this? If you're not putting in this kind of work, then I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to hear from you.
We have a game tomorrow, Chris. As you just said, of course, you just got off the phone with Harbaugh. We'll do our pregame meeting with him tomorrow at 6 a.m. I mean, like, guys,
dude,
if you didn't send Chris a message, send him one now. He's getting out over his skis. He's not paying attention to the
I mean, I'm going to be drinking ahead of the game. I'm going to be at the tailgate. I'm going to be drinking. I hope it's not like Penn State where I show up in the stadium and I'm half in the bag. You know what I mean? Because Lord knows that had an impact on what happened at Penn State, for goodness.
Thank you, Trevor. That's exactly how I feel about it. To be honest, as fans and media, that's what you're supposed to do. Talk about the matchup 3 weeks down the line. Talk about what the end of the season might look like. Talk about Michigan's playoff chances. Talk about, when J.J. McCarthy gets his first start, what's he going to look like 10 weeks from now? That's what you do. That's what makes it fun to talk about sports.
Wild to me, man. It's wild to me. And I feel like half of these people they're not even aware that Jim Harbaugh himself dedicates a portion of practice each week to Ohio State. There are signs all over inside the building that remind the guys, beat Ohio State. It is something that the players talk about often. I just saw Zach Zinner and I think Eric All and a handful of other players sharing basically this montage video that's about to come out of the rivalry. Yeah. It's like, guys, these kids can walk and chew gum at the same time. They can understand that they have to play Illinois this weekend, but we can talk about the incredible matchup that's coming up with Ohio State without it having any impact whatsoever on what happens on Saturday. And it just drives me insane. I called you about this earlier. I was pretty much yelling at you on the phone. I'm like, what is it with this 1 week at a time mentality with these fans? I don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, guys, Chris and I are going to be out at 517 Berkeley tomorrow with Rosie, and we're already making plans for Columbus. Like, should we not be doing that? Got to lock in. Gotta focus on the Illini only. Can't look ahead. That's a waste of energy.
Can we talk about basketball? Can we talk about that?
Well,
I don't even know if you want to talk about that.
I was going to bring it up a little bit. Some people asked about it. Said, thank God we've got that game to look forward to next week in Michigan football. It's 10-0 because it could be a long year for basketball. I don't know if it's going to be a long year, but I do think that there are going to be some games like last night's. I said it after one game. I said, well, dude, those young freshmen don't know what they're doing quite yet. Jalen Llewellyn, I'm not sure he's all the way settled in yet. There doesn't look to be any scoring beyond like two guys, maybe 3.5 guys. Like, honestly, but beyond Hunter Dickinson, Jet Howard, it's kind of like a crapshoot. I think Kobe Buffkin can be a serviceable scorer, and you might get someone on the broadcast, I think, said it perfectly last night. Terrence Williams can get you 20 or he can get you 2. And it honestly can be a good game both times out for him. He does a lot of different stuff. So, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on the basketball game. It was on late. People, probably didn't even watch the whole thing because they were getting their ass kicked by halftime. Ended up losing by a bunch. It just wasn't a good night. Arizona State was shooting lights out. Michigan couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. It was a stinker of a game. Those happen sometimes. I do think they're going to happen occasionally this year with this team. I mean, the freshmen are going to get better. I do think Llewellyn will settle in and be better. But I just don't know if a lot's going to change about him. And Chris, I know you said man, I thought the shooting was going to be better. It was god awful last night. They shot 18% from 3.
Yeah, I mean, we were looking at the roster heading into the season, and it felt like one of the things that Michigan seemed to be lacking over the last, few years, handful of years, has been, when the game is on the line and it's close and you need a guy who can just go and get you a bucket, who is going to be that guy? And it felt like there were a number of players that could emerge in that role this season. And it just seems like, I don't know, Jet Howard is nice. He does some things real well, but then, there's nights like last night where it just seems like nothing works. And so, yeah, the droughts got him last year, and it seems like that might be something they go through again this year. And I think you're right. I'm not sure what to make of this team quite yet. I don't know if they're going to gel and pull it together and become kind of more what people, some people like myself might have expected, or if this is just going to be, a growing pain year for, what's really a young team outside of guys like Dickinson and Williams.
Yeah, and I mean, in the big picture, you want to just be playing pretty good ball by the end of the year and make a run in the tourney. I mean, it'd be great to win the Big Ten. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like those are meaningless games or accomplishments, but, if the team gels at the right time and they start.
Are you looking ahead to the tournament? What are you doing? Who's next on the schedule? Who is next on the schedule?
I don't even know.
That's the problem. That's probably why they lost last night.
My fault. Sorry about that, everybody. I will focus. We'll lock back in on the Illini. That is the only thing that matters here on the Wolverine Digest podcast.
Task at hand.
All right. Actually, that is what we are going to get into, though. That's the majority of what we do on a Friday. But, yeah, Michigan basketball played dude, like 10 o'clock last. The game got over at like 11:30. I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
But anyway, well,
Freon
comes in, makes it hot for us. Appreciate that.
Oh my God, look at him raising the fire, beat Ohio, just come right out of the gate, skipping over the Illini, making a huge mistake. He's not suiting up. Beat Ohio.
All right. Call me dumb, call me smart, Chris. Please do with vigor. Can you do that?
I look forward to it.
I'm coming out strong with the first one. Are you ready for this?
Let's hear it.
Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards, J.J. McCarthy will all score a rushing touchdown tomorrow. All three of them.
Go through the list again.
Blake Corum,
Donovan
Edwards, J.J. McCarthy will all have a rushing touchdown tomorrow.
Dumb. I don't think JJ's on that list, but I do think Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards get in the end zone. I mean, I think weather is certainly going to play a bit of a factor, even though I'm not sure that it's calling for snow, but it's cold as shit out tonight. Yeah. It's going to be cold as shit tomorrow, and all the snow that's down really isn't going to go anywhere. So I'm sure the conditions are going to be such that they're going to be doing a lot on the ground. But yeah, I would say give that third, fourth, fifth to guys like CJ Stokes and some of the other running backs on the group, because I think they're going to go deep into the lineup on Saturday.
Fair enough. I just think back to, JJ had one last week, and I love the play design. I love getting him out on the edge and the little, QB sweep, QB power.
Give me senior Leon Franklin. Give me Tavier Dunlap. Give me CJ Stokes. Probably like 5 different running backs. Yeah,
it is senior night. But yeah, I think Michigan's going to run the ball a lot. I mean, that's what they do anyway. And if the weather isn't cooperating, if it is super cold, if it is hard to throw it a little bit, we'll see. I just think there's going to be a lot of rushing touchdowns to go around. Depends on how they get divvied up and who gets in the end zone. But I'll go with those three, and then we'll see what happens.
I'm not liking my color here. I feel like I look like I'm in a morgue. How does it look on your side? Do I look all right, or do I look kind of pale over there?
Look a little bit like a sausage. I mean,
not liking what I'm seeing over here on my side.
A little corpsey.
Damn it. Maybe I need to warm up the light a little bit.
All right. Number 2. Good Lord. Now you're landing planes on an aircraft carrier. We don't need that either. All right.
All right. Back to it.
Number 2. J.J. McCarthy will once again have less than 200 yards passing. Is that a lock?
Smart.
At this point? Yeah.
Smart. Pretty much a lock. Like I said, I think weather's going to play factor in it. I think they're going to lean heavily on the ground game. I think a whole stable of running backs are going to get the opportunity to eat tomorrow. So give me under 200 yards for show.
I mean, it just feels like, between Blake Corum scoring a touchdown and
JJ. Money. You know what's crazy though? Is that the fact that that is such like a comfortable call at this point. Like under 200 yards passing. Yeah, that's happening.
Easy. That's all day.
Easy.
Easy
does, money.
It feels like it, man. All right,
wait, let's hit Mark Mix first. What if it was 150?
That's about the tipping point.
Are you taking the plus or minus? I'm still taking the minus tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe tomorrow.
143, 147.
Golly, dude. It's like 1971 out there. All right. Complaining again. We blow. Whatever. All right. Number 3. I like this one, Chris. I want to see where you go with this one. Michigan will, and again, I think he's going to play. Well, that's a caveat, obviously, but Chase Brown did get a little dinged up last week. He's leading the nation in rushing yards.
Has there been a definitive answer whether or not he's
going to
play?
Hasn't been, but I just can't imagine in this type of game, like, he's going to play. Maybe he's not 100%, but I think he does play. Obviously, if he doesn't, then throw this one out. But
yeah,
Michigan will hold Chase Brown under 100 yards rushing. He's averaging 144, and he's only been under 100 once this year, and it was last week against Purdue.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the stat that I read earlier was that Michigan's only given up over 150 yards on the ground once this year. They've got one of the top defenses in the country. I just think it's going to be tough sledding. Yeah, give me under 100 yards for Brown for sure.
And, if he is a little dinged, that's a physical
position. It's senior day. It's the last game in the big house. These guys are going to be amped up, ready to eat. Trust me, there's plenty of incentive for them to go out and destroy the Illini tomorrow. They're motivated without my help.
1 dumb, 2 smarts.
Okay. All right. Not liking it so far.
Number 4, Illinois will break the second half scoring drought against the Wolverines defense. There will not be a shutout in the second half tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's smart. The offensive line is pretty good. The running game is solid. I mean, Illinois, even though they shit the bed the last 2 weeks, they're a pretty well-balanced team and they can score some points. And so, yeah, I think now you're saying the shutout, right? You think so we know Penn State got 3 points. So you're talking the second half shutout streak ends, which is over the last 3 games,
Three
I
or
think.
4 games. Yeah, 3 or 4 games.
Okay.
Like that number's still like, what is it, 117-3? I mean, it's absurd.
Yeah. I would say, how about this? I'll say the Illini find the end zone in the second half, which would be the first time that's happened.
Okay, so you're taking it up a notch even. You think
Taking it up a notch, cranking it up just a bit.
So 1 dumb, 3 smarts. And last but not least, I think I know the answer. I kind of cheat on this one because I know what your prediction is. You give it to me ahead of time. Michigan will cover. It's 17.5 or 18, depending on the book where you look. That's a pretty big number against a ranked opponent that was – I mean, this one was being billed as a pretty big game, East versus West. And now it looks like Michigan should run away with this thing. So Michigan will cover this 17.5-point spread and win by at least 18.
Oh, yeah. They're going to cover.
Yeah.
They'll cover.
I think you had – well, we'll get to that. I'm not going to give away.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give away the whole deal. But
they'll cover by
I just think, based on what Michigan has done during these second halves, I do think Illinois will be a little more productive than some of the other programs. But I still think Michigan's going to put it on them in the second half and pull away and win by 3 scores or so. So that's where I'm at. There it is. That's 4 smarts, Chris.
Solid. Yeah, that's not an ideal segment right there. That's not an ideal segment. I feel like you need to step a little bit further to the ledge. Just a little further. Maybe
so
one
my
or
first
two.
one, having 3 separate guys score a rushing touchdown, that one was a little closer to that said ledge you're talking about.
That's like asking, would Jim Harbaugh leave wads of chew in the coach's restroom following the game? I mean, that is 100% yes, it's happening. We've seen it.
Yeah, we have. You may have rubbed it on your face. I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly
Put
how
it on his war paint.
Something
Brandon,
like that. Tyler,
take this home. Tyler, appreciate you.
Appreciate that. Yeah, Chris was like, "I'm ready for the second half." Dog.
That's what this is. It's actually Harbaugh chew from the Big Ten championship game. I'll cherish it forever.
He was putting it under his eyes, getting ready to. He was getting locked in. He was doing exactly what everybody wants him to do and staying focused.
Some tea with it when I got home. It was a whole deal, whole thing.
Interesting. All right, let's hear a little bit from our boy Richie Rich over at Mediascapes.
Hey, this is Rich from Mediascapes located in Burton. Let me fill you in a little bit about our business. We are a full-service sign and graphic company from banners, yard signs to vehicle wraps. When it comes to marketing your business, we also provide video and photography services as well as apparel and promotional items. If it's something that will make your business or organization stand out, we do it. And I guarantee we do it well. We are Mediascapes on Dorrit Highway, south of Bristol Road, just before Rock Bottom. Check out our work at Mediascapes.com. That's Mediascapes with a K.com.
Thank you, as always, Mr. Rich Schultz. There's the phone number, 810-410-4737, Mediascapes with a K.com. You can check that out it's in our website in several articles. It's been posted all over the Facebook page on a number of Chris's sponsored posts. It's all over the place. Rich, if you need him to do anything just about at this point, he'll hook it up for you.
He's a man.
There you go. All right, Chris. I forget. I feel like we haven't done this segment as much this year. Maybe it's because we've actually kind of skipped out on some Friday shows given our travel and the other weird stuff we happen to get ourselves into.
Big Ten, big game.
I like it.
There's not much of a headliner this week, dude. This is another one of those weeks where, and this is really this is kind of a testament to what's been bugging people all year, and that's that the Big Ten just isn't that good. I mean, it's just not, especially the West. We all know what's going on.
That's Michigan's fault, by the way, according to the SEC. That's Michigan's issue.
I actually think the best game of the week in the Big Ten is Michigan-Illinois. We'll focus on that one at the end. So outside of that, I guess I'll go Ohio State, Maryland. I know I mentioned that Ohio State had to go to College Park, and you love the Terps for some reason. You love them.
Love those Terps out east.
I think Ohio State's going to whoop that ass. But that's probably the best game out there. There's just not a lot of intrigue this week in the conference.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those games where, Maryland's not awful. They're not great, but we have seen before when Ohio State has to go out there that, there's been times where Maryland's been able to take them to the limit when, Ohio State has clearly had the more superior team. And so if we're talking like who's more on upset alert between those two games, Michigan, Illinois, or Ohio State out at Maryland, I would put my money on Ohio State out at Maryland. Now, has anybody checked the weather forecast out in Maryland? Is it rainy? Is it windy? What's happening out there? I mean, that's really going to determine a lot of things, I would say.
Ohio State favored by just 26.5, NBD, going into College Park to put a beat down on the Terps. I mean, look, yeah, Chris is right. There have been stranger outcomes before where Ohio State has no business being in a game with a team, and then for some reason they are. I don't think that's going to happen tomorrow. But, maybe Tagovailoa whips it around a little bit. You get a ball to bounce a weird way, a turnover. You never know. I think Ohio State's probably going to cruise, but of the games on the schedule, that's probably the best one. 46 and sunny, Tony Will.
Yeah, I just looked at it. So probably not good for the Terps there. That's not great for the
little chilly for Coolidge's hand on the, on the ball.
Nah,
maybe they'll put it in a heater for him before they take the ball out onto the field.
He'll be all right. He'll be all right for Saturday.
But no, I mean it's a 3:30 game that feels like a sleepy time out.
Let me ask you this. With all of the intrigue and all of the hype and all of the excitement leading up to what's sure to be a spectacular game between these two, if Ohio State goes out and loses to Maryland, what does that do for you for the game November 26th? Does that change things for you a bit? Does it take the wind out of the sails?
It would knock some luster off the game, and I'd be even more pissed because I mean they're still Ohio State. They're still going to be good. They're still going to be fired up and trying to kill Michigan on Saturday in Columbus. It changes nothing about what I would think about their ability to beat Michigan or make it a game or be close if Michigan were to win. So it would just suck. It would knock the shine off of what's going to be 2 versus 3, 11-0 versus 11-0, all the marbles. Because at that point, if Ohio State won the game, they'd still win the Big Ten, or they'd still win the Big Ten East.
Yeah, yep.
Which would suck. I mean, that would be like horrible. So, yeah, I definitely don't want that to happen.
So
Tyler,
rooting for the Buckeyes this weekend. Rooting for the Buckeyes. Interesting.
If Michigan runs 200 plus against Illinois, how confident are you next week against Ohio State? I mean, it's not going to change anything.
I think they will. Yeah, I think
I'm confident in what Michigan does, and what they do works, and it travels, and it doesn't matter the weather. It doesn't matter, if you can run the ball and lean on a team and pick up more yards in the second half than you can in the first, that's not going to change. So I think if Michigan runs for 200, 300, 400, 500 yards against Illinois, I still feel the same about whether or not they're going to be able to do it against Ohio State. It doesn't really change anything for me. So that's the biggest game I could come up with, Chris. Get yourself ready. I mean, at some point, some part of me is like, do I really want to go into Michigan Stadium and get geared up, or can I just watch a little bit of Northwestern at Purdue at noon?
Woo! I mean, sometimes, I'll be honest, sometimes I forget Purdue's even in the Big Ten. That's how, they've been irrelevant for a long time. I know they'll sneak up and beat Ohio State every now and then, but there are some times where I forget Purdue's even in the Big Ten Conference. So, yeah, sounds like a bit of a snoozer over there.
Your Boilermakers are favored by 17.5 in that one at home.
Phenomenal. Aren't they still in the running to win the division as well? It's like a 3 or 4-way tie.
The West is such a mess.
It's going to be a 4-loss team representing the West in the Big Ten championship game. I mean, what does that do for you?
Does Northwestern still have just 1 win or maybe 2? I don't know. They're terrible. That game's awful. It's another reminder of just how blessed Chris and I are to cover. You say it all the time. You're like, can you imagine having to go cover that one?
Would be difficult. Difficult, especially in conditions, weather conditions, when it's chilly and cold. You sit out there and watch shitty football.
I would venture to say that if you were covering one of those teams, given how the weather can get, you might say, you know what, I'm going to do the booth.
Oh, no, the photography would be off the table. Yeah. Off the table, no doubt about it.
Shane Johnson. Been on to, I'm not sure exactly what that first part.
Been on to Ohio since the Penn State game, I think.
Oh, I see. On to Ohio since. Yeah, I mean, dude, I said it last year. I've said it the year before that. It goes all the way back to when I wasn't feeling what Harbaugh was doing. every single year, Michigan's schedule is like 3 games. That's it. I mean, that's fine. You know, Michigan loses one they shouldn't every once in a while. You lose one to Indiana once in a blue moon. Illinois gives you a fit once in a while. I mean, for whatever reason. But every year, it's like Ohio State, maybe a Penn State, maybe a Michigan State, and if there's a random out-of-conference game, like, that's it. I don't care what the circumstance is, what year, who's doing what positions are out there, what guys are playing. Michigan should beat Maryland, Indiana, Illinois, Purdue, Northwestern, Nebraska, like every year.
All of them.
Every year. If they don't, that's a massive failure. So I don't disagree with you, Shane. It's when the season started, you looked at Michigan's going to be favored in every game until they play Ohio State. And they might be favored in that one now. Not really sure. Chris and I were talking about that today. That's what you say at the beginning of the year before they even take the field. So I don't know why it's weird to talk about them now. It's only
I don't know. I don't know if you look, dude. I don't even look at the schedule when it comes out. I make sure I black out everything other than week 1 because I just don't even tell me.
Only the opening week. That's all I want. Chris, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it and be about it. Where are we going Saturday, tomorrow?
Oh, my goodness. We are going to be with the great folks over at Wolverine State Brewing Company. What is it? Is it 2019 West Stadium Boulevard? I believe it is.
Better than me if you know the address.
I mean, I feel like I'm at the place so often. I know the address at this point. But after the game, immediately after the Illinois-Michigan game, we're going to go out to Wolverine State Brewing Company. I think we're actually going to do our post-game show live from Wolverine State Brewing Company. We got a lot of cool stuff going on there. We also have the silent auction that's part of the project that we're doing with Mott Children's Hospital and Blake Corum and Allie Bauer. And so if you come out and hang out with your boys, you'll also have the opportunity to put in a bid for some awesome game-worn merchandise. I put it up on the social media sites. But overall, great beer, great food, great vibe, great music, great people. Believe there's also going to be some folks from the Michigan football team there as well, non-related to what we're doing, but that's the kind of spot it is, man. Every time we go in there, we seem to run into, at least a couple of the offensive linemen. Sometimes there's some coaches in there hanging out. And so it's going to be a good time. I think there's going to be a lot of people there, celebrating the final home game of the year and senior day and all that good stuff.
I thought I was watching the Nutty Professor for a second right there with how many greats you just threw out. You remember that line? Great. Yeah, I was like, wow, that's a lot of great.
Great, dude. It's all great. You want to know what else is great about that place? And I hope it's still up there. But if you go in the back, if you go in the Gulo room, you'll see kind of on that picture there where they've got all of the the beer selection written in chalk. In one segment there, it's blank except for a little chalk heart that my 4-year-old daughter drew. They kept it up there. It's been up there for at least the last couple of weeks I've been there. That's just the kind of place it is, man. It almost feels like family at this point.
Got myself a date. Friday night at 8. That would be so great. There it is. And then Chris rattles off 16 greats in a row because it's a great place.
Phenomenal, great, incredible.
Friday. All right, I'm done singing. Dude, if you want some quotes from the Clumps, dude, I'm your boy.
I will say that Jada Pinkett was looking pretty good.
Oh, Miss Purdy.
Yeah, pretty good, Miss Purdy.
Miss Purdy.
Now, that ain't happening in real life. There ain't no situation where Miss Purdy was looking at Clump like that. Come on.
Yeah,
Only in the movies. Only in the movies.
Some of those women, dude, they really get going with the Brainiac guy.
I've tried it. I've tried to be smart. It doesn't work. That's why I'm this way. I tried smarts, Brandon.
Now that's fine.
You didn't want it.
She fine. Miss Purdy. Oh, Miss Purdy. All right, good Lord. We're losing cabin pressure at this point. Sorry, everybody. Just hang on with me. It is Friday. Hercules. Okay, all right. Over-unders, dude. You ready? You got them? Are you ready to roll?
I'm actually prepared tonight.
I don't believe it.
It's happening. Prepared.
I don't believe it. You want to start, or you want to
go ahead and let me get it started off, Brandon, because I did mention earlier that I think weather is going to be a factor. I do think the ground game is going to be a big factor, obviously, for Michigan as it is week in and week out. I have the over-under total points scored on Saturday at 41.5. 41.5 total points scored.
Well, I'm going to say over, and you'll see why when we get to my prediction. So, I would go pretty strongly over that because Michigan's favored by 18. if they're winning by 18, like they're going to have some points. And I do think what you said is valid. I think Illinois got a competent enough offense to score a little bit here and there.
34-6 would be under, something like that, which sounds real.
I think it's going to be a little more than that. I'll say over, and it's not by a ton, but like again, when we get to my prediction, I'll revisit that total and put it out there for you. But what do you have?
I'm taking the over as well, considerably. Right. Taking the over.
I forget. You sent me your blurb now, and I didn't even really focus on what the score. Okay, so we're in a very similar wheelhouse actually with the total points.
Right.
Actually, we have a different total, but we have the exact same number of total points.
Wow. Okay.
Score, but same number.
I like it.
There you go. I go back to this well every week. We've been talking about it every week. We've been wondering if it's going to look any different. People think that there's a new chapter of the playbook coming out. You've been on the phone with Harbaugh. I mean, a lot of things are moving right now.
It's happening.
J.J. McCarthy over or under 21 and a half attempts through the air. 21 and a half.
Well, see, that's because I have completions on my over-under later.
Okay.
So I'm trying to base this off of that. You said 21 and a half attempts?
21 and a half.
I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take the under on 21 and a half. I'm going to take the under. I think it's going to be largely on the ground, and then I think probably those guys are going to have an early afternoon. That's going to be some Davis Warren. It's going to be some CJ Stokes. It's going to be some Leon Franklin. It's going to be that kind of afternoon. So give me the under on 21 and a half.
This is like the Randall Doris. This is like the wheelhouse I see all day right there, like 16 or 18 of 24.
Listen, so if it was sunny and 45, I'd probably be there with you, but it's not. Fair. I mean, you're talking 26 degrees with like a wind chill, way colder than that. Yeah, it's going to be nipply. A little nipply out there.
26 degrees with a wind chill of balls. You heard it here first. I'm going to take the over, but just barely. I mean, I do think it's like 23, 24 throws. It's just not a lot. It's not a lot to get to that number, but I mean, what have we seen all year? So I'll take the over, but just by a little bit.
All right, Brandon, we talked about it earlier in the show, touched on it a little bit anyway. Second half points for the University of Michigan. Over the last 5 games, they've given up just three points. It came in the third quarter to Penn State. They haven't given up a single point in the fourth quarter over the course of those 5 games, which is also incredible.
Yeah,
I've got the second half points surrendered by this Michigan defense at 9.5. Second half points, 9.5 for the Michigan defense.
I'm going to go under. I mean, all those things you just said, the incredibleness, it's not a word, the incredibleness that is that shutout in the fourth quarter over the last, how many games did you say?
5 games. They have not given up a single point in the fourth quarter.
That's crazy because they've been up by a lot, and you so often see when the backup guys get in there, they just give up a late score. I mean, it doesn't mean anything. It's a garbage time score. I'm going to go under. I think if Illinois gets a touchdown, that might be it. Maybe a couple field goals if they stall out. I mean, they'd have to score 10.
Yep.
I don't think they will.
Unfortunately and reluctantly, I'm going to go over, and I think Illinois gets a field goal early in the second half, and then I do think Michigan gives up a garbage touchdown late.
Sure.
And so I think that's how Illinois gets to 10 in the second half. I don't want to see it happen, but I also think, like we've mentioned before, it's senior day. I think they're going to try to empty out and get as many guys on the field as they possibly can who, quite frankly, will never play a game inside of Michigan Stadium again and might only have, the remainder of this season to play football. So
that's a fair point. That's an interesting angle and a fair point. If Harbaugh wants to get some senior guys out there that haven't played much this year for a final send-off, if they're in a position to do so, I could see that. That's interesting. We'll see. But I do think the defense will be really good in the second half. I mean, shoot, if they only gave up 10, that'd still be pretty impressive.
Solid, yeah.
But yeah, I'll take the under, but you might have, if I was really doing money, you might have just swayed me the other way. I mean, I will see. But I do like how that sounds. All right. I don't think I've done one like this year, and it's weird because I do these in real life when I'm betting, like, often. J.J. McCarthy's longest completion, Chris. J.J. McCarthy's longest completion, 25.5 yards. 25.5 yards.
Well, see, okay, so this is where I get confused because does he hit Roman Wilson in the flat and Roman takes it 30 yards. I mean, are we talking that type of scenario?
That could count, absolutely.
Give me the over. Give me the over. I think there's going to be a missed tackle somewhere. I do think JJ is going to throw the ball. And I think if they can, get the ball in the hands of one of those speedy guys, yeah, sure, I could see a scenario where they break one off for 25, 30, 40 yards downfield. So I'll take the over.
I'll take the over, too. I mean, I think back to last week, like Ronnie Bell had a 29-yard catch where he fumbled the ball right before the goal line. Colston Loveland had a 28-yard catch that was actually over 30 when it looked like he stayed up, but then it got called back 5 or 6 or 7 yards, whatever it was. So I will take the over, too. Like, a 26-yard completion in a college football game is not very long. Like you said, a quick broken tackle and a 15-yard toss can turn into a 30-yard gain in a hurry. So I will take the over as well. But this number we have, it was actually 20. This number that we focused on with JJ was that he has not been good on air throws over 20 yards, 20 yards through the air. Back to your point, a short play that becomes a long one would count. So I'll take the over as well.
I've switched a couple of these up as we've been talking because a few more things have come to my mind here. So I'm going to go with JJ McCarthy. Let's stay on him a little bit here.
Right.
Rushing yards for JJ McCarthy on Saturday. I've got his rushing yards. Now, sack adjusted, rushing yards. 37.5 for JJ McCarthy. Under.
Yeah, I was in a hurry, too, because I think it's a lot of, hey, thank you there, Ron Crabb.
Ron Crabb, appreciate you.
Appreciate
Beautiful
that.
day in Malaysia on the other side of the globe. We're worldwide. Look at us. Look at us out there in Malaysia. Worldwide. On the airwaves in Malaysia. Just incredible.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Ron Crabb. I don't know what you're doing over there, but for us to be part of it, incredible. Appreciate that, man. That's awesome. 37.5. Yeah, I'll take the under, kind of for some of the same reasons. I mean, like you talked about, maybe guys not playing the whole game. Maybe trying not to get anybody broke in half on a 20-degree day. You got bell cow running backs that can certainly tote the water for you. I just don't think they're going to start breaking JJ out as a running threat because they haven't done it all year. I'd love to see it. He's a weapon, but I'll say under.
You know what? I'm going to take the over because I do think they're going to key in on guys like Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards a lot, and I do think Michigan's going to hammer it away with the running backs, and I think that's going to give JJ McCarthy the perfect opportunity on a read option to maybe take one run, 20 yards, 25 yards, break off a big run, and then the rest would come fairly easily. So I'm actually going to take the over. I'm going to be bold and take the over on 37.5 rushing yards for McCarthy on Saturday.
Wouldn't be a show unless we get a donation from our guy Chris Fields.
Thank you so much. Incredible. Hey,
look, man, you are not weird for feeling that way. He doesn't have a question, but he says, where are we getting this? How did we get rid of the callus that just is an automatic loss to Ohio State? Well, we've talked about why. I mean, yes, it's been 20 years since they won in Columbus, right, Chris? Isn't that the number, something like that?
Yeah, 20. Not since 2000. Not since 2000.
Yeah. So.
I mean, dude, when they won in Columbus, you had frosted tips. I may have still had a bowl cut. I may have been wearing Jinkos at the time. I don't know what was going on. Airwalk shoes. Like, it's been a long time. Long time.
I was going to say, maybe everything has come full circle because your boy has still got them. I don't know if you – I'm not sure you can do the bowl cut again.
Well, no, I can't. I got the reverse bowl cut now if I grow it out. It's the sides that grow out and the top that's –
I want to see it so badly.
No, you don't.
So badly.
You don't. Hold on, I'm getting an echo. I'll be right back in here. Right back.
But to finish up the comment on Chris Fields, look, man, like you're not alone in feeling like going into Columbus and winning is just an impossible task. But at some point, Michigan is going to win in the horseshoe, and I think they're as prepared as ever to do that.
Did you just say horseshoe? Sorry,
yeah.
I take that word personally. I'm sorry.
Oh,
we were talking about hair. We were talking about bowl cuts.
Okay.
Cuts a little deep.
If that happens, Chris will grow out his horseshoe haircut and wear it for a full month. No, I don't think I could force him to do that.
Can I grow it out long like Bozo did and dye it red and just curl it up on? Yeah, that might be.
Please.
That might be.
Please do. All right. So was it mine? Back to me, or did you go?
I just did the JJ McCarthy 37.5. Yeah.
So Blake Corum has been on a tear. He is the Heisman frontrunner for some. There are
You're
plenty.
damn right he is.
There are plenty of talking heads out there who would give the award to him right now if it was up to them. So I expect him to have a big game. I know Illinois has got their own version of a superstar running back. He's going to want to show out. Their rushing defense is also quite good. I still think Corum's going to get his. I already said earlier that he's going to score a rushing touchdown. Here's the number. Blake Corum over under 135.5 yards rushing. 135 and a half. It's a good line, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know what? It's getting to the point where the dude is making a push for the Heisman Trophy, and I think everybody knows it. I think he's going to get his. Give me the over, even though I do think there's going to be a lot of running backs that get to touch the ball on Saturday. I think they're going to make damn sure that Blake Corum gets his, even though it's a little bit dicey, man. If it's cold, you can cramp up. Weird things can happen. You certainly don't want to see a guy get injured before a big game like Ohio State. But I still think he's going to go over. Yeah, CJ Frazier. Maybe a big chunk of that comes on one big run right out the gate, or at some point in the seat, or some point throughout the afternoon. Give me the over on 100. What you said, 135?
135
Doesn't
and a half.
matter. Give me the over. Hammer the
I'll
over.
take the over as well. I don't know if I'd go much higher than that if I was making a bet. Like if it was 140 and a half, that might be enough to sway me. Like that 5 yards might be enough to make me pause. But I will take the over. He's going to carry it a lot. It's what Michigan does. The weather might add to it even a little bit more. Give me the over. Blake Corum's a machine.
All right, Brandon, we know that Michigan, for as phenomenal as they have been in the first half, it's been okay. Or I'm sorry, in the second half, it's been okay in the first half. It's been in the first half. They are going to be at home. It is senior day. I think they're highly motivated to get this one in the books. I got first half points for Michigan set at 23.5. Over under.
I would take the over, oddly enough.
Interesting.
Oddly enough.
Over 23.5 in the first half.
I think
With that defense and that offense, 23.5, huh?
I think it's getting to the point now where, look, for all the criticisms that I've given Jim Harbaugh over the years, he does understand what it takes to be. He understands what it's going to take to make a point, and I think he wants to make a point. For a couple of weeks now, everybody's been talking about Michigan, that strength of schedule, like it's trash. If they even stumble even a little, like if they go to Columbus and it's like the game of the ages and they lose by 1, like they're out. Like everybody has said they are out. There's no way that so I think it's about taking care of business. I think it's about operating on a high level. It's not even for Jim Harbaugh. I don't think it really is style points. I think it's about doing everything as close to perfect as possible. And if they do that, they're just a lot better than Illinois. I truly believe that. And so I think that's going to mean, efficiency, scoring on every drive, getting points every time you get the ball. Give me the over by like a little bit, like 24-28. But yeah, I think over 23.5, I'd put them there.
Give me the under. I've got 2 touchdowns and 2 Moody field goals, which would put them at 20. 20 in the first half. I will take the under on 23.5. And, at this point, I know what you're saying about style points and, how people are viewing the strength of schedule. I don't even think it matters at this point. If Michigan goes out and beats the shit out of Illinois, they're still going to say, well, Illinois is a terrible team. It doesn't matter. Michigan's supposed to go out. Like, that narrative has already been built at this point. So it doesn't matter what they do against them.
You either got to go you're either going to go 2-0 or 1-1, and the outcome after those is very different. Like, you're playing for a Big Ten title, you're going to the playoff, or you're waiting for some bowl game in January. Like, that's it. Like, it's very, very different after next Saturday, depending on the outcome of that game. So,
yeah.
Anyway, all right. We're all in agreement, I think, that Blake Corum is going to touch the ball and touch it a lot and be productive and almost certainly will score a touchdown tomorrow. But how about Donovan Edwards? He's been a little bit up, a little bit down. He's dinged up a little bit here and there. Didn't see the field for ever last game out, and it was nobody really knew exactly why. I assume he's going to be back and ready to play, but I don't know if we'll know until the game starts. But I'm still going to use him as one of my over-unders here. Donovan Edwards, longest run of the day, over/under 18.5 yards.
Under
18.5.
Under for his longest run of the day. Yeah, I'll take the under. Again, for the inconsistency, I'm not really sure what to expect out of him. Obviously, he looked incredible against Penn State. I think he had 177 yards, looked every bit of what you thought Donovan Edwards was going to look like throughout the entire duration of the season. And it just really hasn't materialized. Now, he might get a reception over 18 yards. I could see that, but I don't know that it's going to come on the ground. So for that reason, I'll take under.
I'm just not convinced he was actually hurt. I don't really know why he wasn't playing. Like, he was jumping around on the sidelines. He was standing right by the running back herd, ready to go in for the whole game. It looked,
We're saving him. We're saving him.
maybe is it a wrist? Is it a finger? Is it I don't know. But he didn't look. He wasn't receiving any medical attention. I don't remember him taking a shot to the head. I don't know why he didn't play. If it was a wrist, I see Rob Lucio right there. I mean, if that's what it was, that would make a little bit more sense. Sorry, I had something really stuck in my teeth right there. It was bothering the hell out of me.
For those of you who are not watching video.
Yeah, real quick. Well, even my dentist told me floss 7 days a week, Chris, and you got to do it. Anyway, he's a big play waiting to happen. I guess it does depend on if he plays a lot, if he's healthy, if he's utilized. I mean, yeah, there's people in the comments saying, like, he's not even going to play. Rest him tomorrow. And if that happens, that happens. But I think if he's out there and he's playing anything close to a normal amount of snaps, he will rip off one for more than 18 and a half yards. You're darn right, Zach Woodruff. I am rocking the shirt.
Oh, my God.
Some of that. You talking to the mic. I got a backup mic right here. All right?
He's channeling his inner Biff. The only thing you got to do is cut it a little bit further down.
Dude.
There was some taco meat hanging out. There's a lot of beef.
Had dips hanging out the side, dude. I mean, it was a little. It was aggressive.
Aggressive
for like a guy like Biff.
It's fair to say it was an aggressive move.
Yeah, aggressive.
All right, I'm down to my final over-under here, and I've mentioned it several times on the podcast. It is senior day. One of the seniors that's going to be out there on that defense is Mike Morris. He leads the team in sacks. I really like that he's been coming on strong during the season. He was my favorite at the beginning of the year to be the sack leader. He just looks the part. He's big, the number 90, the dreads. He's physical. He's athletic. Love everything about Mike Morris. I got him at 1.5 sacks on Saturday. You taking the over or under for Mike Morris at 1.5?
I'll take the under. I think like a sack in an afternoon is a good day, and pressuring the quarterback. And it also comes down to Illinois' commitment to the run. They're not going to drop back and throw it 50 times, I don't think. If they get down and they got to wing it around a little bit, maybe, and that is out of their comfort zone, so that could lead to some missed assignments. If Mike, almost said Mike McDonald, talking about Mike Morris. If Jesse Minter dials up some stuff with Mike Morris and other guys on twists and stunts, then yeah, maybe some guys get home. I'll take the under, but it certainly wouldn't surprise me for him to go over that mark if they have to throw it a lot more than they want to. Illinois doesn't want to throw it, just like Michigan doesn't want to throw it. They might not have a choice if the score gets a little out of hand. So we'll see. Depends on the game flow, but I'll take the under.
And that's why I'm going to take the over, because Illinois doesn't want to have to pass it a lot, and I think they're going to have to on Saturday. And again, conditions are not going to be ideal. Ball could be a little bit slippery. I think Mike Morris is going to get home twice at least. Give me the over on 1.5 sacks for Mike Morris.
And fun fact, Mike Morris is the highest graded prospect on Michigan's roster, according to Todd McShay. 10 guys on Todd McShay's big board from Michigan, if you want to check that out. I posted it yesterday, I think. I don't know if that really surprises me. If you think about who else is on there, like Mozzie Smith was up near the top. Olu was up near the top. Trying to think of who was maybe like 4th or 5th on that list. Anyway, 10 guys. Blake Corum on there as a potential early entry as a junior, but not the highest grade. Running back is just not coveted like it once was in the NFL. But no first rounders. No first rounders, according to Todd McShay. So I don't know if I really disagree with that, honestly. Yeah. But pretty interesting list if you're wanting to start looking at that. Lions fans, the draft is always our most exciting thing of the season, but they're 3-6 now, Chris.
They want Moody, from what I
They could use a kicker. I don't know. Moody with the rare high enough to be drafted grade for a kicker.
I mean, Jake Moody, he's one of 3 Wolverines now to score consecutive 100-point seasons or more, joining Anthony Thomas and Tom Harmon. I mean, the A Train and Tom Harmon, come on, and Jake Moody.
So Jake Moody's either one of the best running backs to ever play at Michigan or like old 98 Heisman winner. Those are that's the party of 3.
He's in that category. It's incredible.
That's pretty awesome. All right, my last one, Chris, and I think this is it, right? We're closing out the segment here.
Yes, sir.
Michigan will, I'll just put it this way. Illinois' total offense for the day, 300.5 yards. Mind you, Illinois averages 402 yards of offense. Michigan doesn't even give up 200 yards of offense. So something's got to give here.
You've got to set at 300?
300.
Give me the under. Give me the under.
Pretty much halfway between what Michigan gives up and what Illinois typically does.
Listen, man, the way that Jesse Minter and this Michigan defense make adjustments in the second half and just completely suffocate whatever offense is on the other side of them, it's going to be tough sledding. I certainly don't think they're going to get, 200 plus in the first half. And so they're not getting that in the first half. They're sure as hell not getting it in the second half. Give me the under on 300.
I will also take the under. I just think Michigan's going to take them out of their game plan by being up by a good chunk. I mean, the weather, the way Michigan sustains drives and has kept time of possession, against everyone. I just don't think there's going to be enough ball to play for Illinois to be that productive. So I think that will show up in our predictions. As I said, both of us are in the same ballpark there. So we'll get to that here momentarily. What a segment.
Can I just say, while we're making the transition here, I do want to thank everybody out there who has donated to the campaign that I'm doing with Mott Children's Hospital and Blake Corum. Obviously for Allie and anybody who's been following along here over the last week or so, they're well aware of what we're doing. I'm not going to go into the whole story, but I do want to say that we're like $106 away from hitting the $4,000 mark on the website. And so we've almost raised $4,000 right now for 5 incredible programs at Mott Children's Hospital. If you haven't had the chance to go there yet and make a donation, whether it's $5, $10, $15, $20, $1,000, it doesn't matter what it is. Every little bit goes to help the kids that are in the hospital, especially over the holidays for the Mott Children's Store. I just think it's an incredible thing that they do in terms of trying to give kids the best Christmas they can possibly have while they're in the hospital. So I'll get that link back out on social media, but was really excited to see that we're quickly approaching that 4,000 number. And I know that there's a couple other sponsors that are going to hop in and contribute a good amount as well. And so I think this is going to be a pretty cool thing that we end up doing here by the end of it.
Amen, brother. That's awesome. Fletch Lives Daily wants to know how to donate. Is there a quick, easy way right now, Chris? I mean, obviously, I know on the Facebook page you'll have something. I don't have that link handy. I know I was throwing it up in the comments earlier in the week. But.
Yeah, I'll throw up the link on the Facebook page after the show is over. I'll put it up once more. It's a pretty simple, straightforward link. They do PayPal, credit card, whatever the case is, but it goes directly to Mott Children's Hospital. So the donation site is actually directly through Mott, so that you're not just giving your money to some Yahoo like me, so I can go out and buy some new clothes with it or whatever it is.
Someone's got to pay for the lap dances for the big guy.
There's overhead costs, you
got to find it where you can find it. That's what I always say. Anyway, I've never said that in my life. Last but certainly not least, one of our favorite photos that has ever been taken.
Oh my goodness.
Just murdered out, dude. All black on black on black.
On black.
I don't even know if we planned it, but our fits are black on black too. I mean, we just showed up ready for action. Chris was telling highly trained individuals where to put a $35 million piece of equipment like he mattered. And for a little bit, Chris, you did matter.
For a little bit, for a minute.
But this is obviously in reference to our partnership with the Army National Guard in Michigan out at Grand Ledge. Lieutenant Jared Johnson has kind of been our point guy, but there's hundreds of people out there that make that place a special, special place.
Yeah.
We've said it a lot. If you know somebody, if it's somebody in your family, a friend who, could use a little bit of this structure and this discipline and this lifestyle that has clearly made people a lot better than Chris and I. And we've seen it every time we're out there with them. the website is on our website. Every time Chris puts up a sponsored post with I don't know the exact website, but it's something MI Army.
MyArmyNationalGuard.com, I
Guard.
believe.
It's pretty lengthy, yeah. But they're all over the Facebook page. They're on the website at different places. You can find them. If you scan our QR code on Rosie at any point, you can get to it. Or you can just Google Army National Guard in Michigan and get there. But, these people are awesome, and we just want to help them out any way that we can.
All right, there's a couple of things here. One, CJ Frazier put the link up to the donation site. He's from the Facebook page. So if you see it there, that is the link that you click. You can copy and paste it into your browser. You can go there and donate. And then how about Mike Pingle? I hope I said that correct. Mike Pingle II. His wife is letting him listen to a couple of yahoos like us on their honeymoon. It's incredible. Yo, once, twice, 3 times a lady. I feel like we
turn off the lights and light a candle. Yeah.
Why aren't there donations coming in right now?
Are we gonna? We might get shut. We. If you guys could have seen the pre-show studio where Chris and I were literally taking different parts of a Boys to Men song, going back and forth.
Door and turn the lights down low.
We may have attempted harmony. It was a scene for a few minutes. Those are the kind of things we talk about as doing as premium. You gotta pay us for that.
Some Boys to Men. You don't want to.
We appreciate when you guys give us money. You have to give us money if you want to be part of those.
Have to. 7 o'clock on the dot. I'm in my drop top, cruising the street.
This is for you, Mike Pingle.
That's for you. Well, actually, it's for his wife. And Mike, I'm helping you out. I want your honeymoon to be as good as it could possibly be. You tell me what you need. Taking requests all night.
Mrs. Pingle. Sounds like a fake name. Again, we got a few of you running around here in this place.
Is that an alias?
I think that's the second. Come on, there ain't 2 of you out there. Mike Pingle the second. I wouldn't advise it. I'm glad you're here, but you might want to rethink it a little bit.
No, it's advisable conduct. It's advisable conduct on a honeymoon. There's no doubt.
I mean, we could set the tone as much as you really want. I mean, I don't know if we've seen Louis Miller comment before, have we?
We have. Louis an old G. He's been around for a minute, Louis Miller.
Chris's singing brought him out from under a rock there. Oh boy. This is the Friday show if I've ever heard one right here.
It's Friday.
All right. We were talking about the Army National Guard. Now panties are dropping. I don't know what's going on out here, Chris. Can we just...
I mean, dude, between the picture and the singing, it's a good thing I'm locked down in the basement here. There may be women trying to get down here right now, but I'm safe.
Bottle that all up.
Pour
it all over yourself. That's the National Guard. How about that? How about that for a segue?
Look at, Hannah. She's real and actually told him to listen. See, that's how you know you married the right one. You married the right one there, Mike.
Hannah Pingle. She is real. The name
is 7 o'clock on the dot. I'm in my drop top, cruising the street.
Chris, go ahead, dude.
Well,
I got a real pretty little thing that's waiting for me.
I pull up.
All right. Anticipating. Dude, I'm ready. I'll do the whole song tonight.
Keith Sweat going? Keith Sweat, Keith Urban, you tell me. What's the genre? What do we got to do?
I'll do the whole song right now. Nobody. I see Rob Lucio suggesting a little Keith.
Baby, I know.
Oh, good. That's Twisted. That's the other one, Chris.
Got me Twisted. No, that's Twisted is my jam.
Oh, that's where you're going to go to?
That's where
I'm going. I'm going to take this off the screen now and attempt to salvage whatever the hell we're doing right here.
Oh, well, congratulations, Mike and
awesome.
Hannah. I mean, that's awesome. I'm glad you guys are enjoying your honeymoon and happy to, I mean, we're out in Malaysia. We're accompanying couples on their honeymoon.
I mean,
we're getting porn spam in here. It's incredible.
We're pretty much putting on a live concert. What else do you want?
Listen, if you couldn't get tickets to Taylor Swift, you just tune into Brandon and I on Sunday evening. We're going to be performing all the songs off of her new album, which I don't know what the name of it is, but we'll learn it and we'll do it for you. And then you don't have to pay that kind of exorbitant amount of money. What are you doing down there? What are you looking for?
I don't know. I'm just trying to find whatever I can do. I'll do karaoke all night, Ron Thomas. If we can find a spot, I'm in. I'm down.
You don't want to get around Brandon when there's a karaoke machine. I'm telling you, it's a little bit dangerous.
Some things
A little
have
bit
happened.
dangerous.
Some things have happened. That's not for a donation. That's for Place Your Bets. It's our final segment of the
Hey,
we got to get out of here. I mean,
let's do it.
we're borderline doing arrestable things right now. We need to stop. So let's get back to football for just a couple minutes. Not a lot to talk about because there's only 2 ranked games tomorrow, all in the Pac-12. A little bit of intrigue because there's some highly ranked teams getting after it, but with Michigan being at number 3 and really just needing to win out, I mean, the intrigue is not really there for them. If they win, they're in. If they lose, they're out. Like, that's what it is for Michigan. Some of these other teams, though, it's probably really just one of these 4. But anyway, here we go. Chris, number 7, USC at number 16, UCLA. Battle of Los Angeles, 8 p.m. The Trojans are favored by 2.5. How do you see that one going? Dorian Thompson-Robinson, Zach Charbonnet. Some Michigan fans might remember those names for the Bruins.
Doesn't matter. Give me the Trojans outright.
Okay. But, yeah, I mean,
I got the Trojans by like 13, something like that.
It does feel like that's almost free money. Is that free money?
It feels like
Is this the kind of game that brings you over to the dark side, Chris?
No. It's going to take something. It's going to take like a bender. We're going to have to be out drinking, and then I'm going to have to sign up for like a gambling site, put in some bets, win some money. That's what happened to me in Vegas with the Wheel of Fortune slot machine. I just randomly won $2,000. This was a couple years back. I sat down. I had like $5 left. I played max credits, won $2,000. So now every time I go to Vegas, I'm like, where the hell's the Wheel of Fortune slot machine? That's where you can find me posted up all night trying, and I lose. I lose a lot of money.
That is a popular one. I'm not a slot guy, but I hear a lot of people talk. I love
the lights. I love the sound. I love the super spin. It's all so enticing.
I would also take the Trojans to cover that. Caleb Williams is a dynamic quarterback. I think he's going to be really good in the NFL. I was talking to my dad about that. I think he's tailor-made for what kind of play you need in the quarterback in the NFL right now, and I think he's kind of putting that on display for the Trojans out there. I'll take USC to cover on the road. I mean, and on the road, dude, like, does UCLA even get fans to come to their games? I'm not sure. Not usually.
Not sure.
I'm sure that place will be plenty red with USC fans. So, yeah, give me the Trojans. And then last but not least, another Pac-12 matchup, another late night game out there out west. Number 10, Utah, Chris. Number 10, Utah at number 12, Oregon. And Utah is favored going into Autzen. It's only 1.5. It's basically a gimme. It's basically a toss-up game. Pick them. Who you got? Utes, Ducks.
Give me Oregon outright. Give me Oregon. Autzen is a tough place to go and play. They still have a decent team, and I'm not feeling the Utes. Not feeling them. So give me Oregon.
I think a lot of what makes Utah good is when they get to play at home. And you're right, dude. Autzen is a tough place to play. I still think they're a pretty good team. I know they've lost a couple now. They're down to number 12, but 10:32, by the way. I'll be watching that. I mean, it's a late one here, but like that's a good game to watch in the evening when you get back in and kind of get settled. So that'll be a fun one. But yeah, give me the Ducks as well. So I mean, if it's 1.5, I mean you're essentially picking them to win. So yeah, we'll see what that one ends up looking like. And last, but certainly not least, Chris.
Certainly not least.
The Illinois Fighting Illini traveling to Ann Arbor for a noon kickoff against number 3 Michigan. The Wolverines are favored by 17.5. What's your score, Chris, and does it cover that spread?
It covers the spread. Like I said, it's senior day, and Illinois is the last obstacle for the Michigan Wolverines before they can go to Columbus with a perfect 11-0 record and go make a statement to the entire country that they are for real and that, you know what, they're going to be in the playoffs. And so I think Illinois is going to feel the full wrath of the Wolverines on Saturday. Give me Michigan 37, Illinois 17. They come.
So that's a 20-point win. You've got it a little closer than I do, which I don't think has happened very often this season. It's usually been the other way around. I've had it a little closer. You've had Michigan scoring a little bit more.
I think Illinois gets 10 points in the second half. I think they give up 7 in the first half, and that's how I get to the 17.
Michigan did finally throw you a 50 burger last week.
They did finally.
2 weeks ago. Sorry.
2 weeks ago. The one time I didn't think it was going to happen. I don't gamble.
I got them picked to cover as well by a little bit bigger margin. I've got Michigan 41, Illinois 13. So we have the same number of total points. That's what I was saying. We've got 54 points up there on the board, but just getting there a little differently. So 41-13 for me. Chris says 37-13. I'm sorry, 37-17. Both would cover the spread. Me by just a little bit more, but a win is a win. Covering a spread is covering a spread.
That is true.
There you go. If you want to make a big old fat bet, don't listen to us, but
please, for the love of God, don't listen to us. But if you are on your honeymoon, listen to us, because 1, you're like a dream come true. 2, just wanna be with you. 3, cause it's plain to see. Brandon, you know.
That you're the only one for me. And 4,
repeat steps.
I can hear us singing upstairs. My dad is watching us on the TV, and it's like just slightly. I was like, what?
Thank God Brian McKnight he put out a 5-step process on how to get women.
It's undeniable. All right. I don't know what is. I've never sang in front of that many people in my life.
Me either. Have I made it? Is this that got played in Malaysia? That got played on a honeymoon? Am I an artist now?
We're essentially on a worldwide tour right now. 6 more shows coming next week.
Way cheaper than Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
And the content's better, to be honest.
T-Swizz. Anyway, good Lord. Do you know how many drops we could go back and pull from this show?
Too many drops.
And
I will say that the infrequency of the use of the Tim Allen drop has been probably it's just been such a disappointment over there. I thought I was going to be hearing it. You need that grunt in my life. I need it.
You know what I need to do? I need to move it. It's the last button on the second page.
Gotta move it.
That's your big boy.
All right.
You gotta move. That's like on Seinfeld, where it's they're judging by the order of the speed dial and importance. You got to move that Tim Allen drop up. You can't put Tim Allen on.
So good.
That's what he would say if he found out he was last on the list. That's what you would get directly from him.
He would make that sound, and then he would say, "That's pure bullshit." Instead of pure bullshit. Dude, can we please get Tim Allen on the show?
I'm going to try. I have been trying for years.
I would absolutely love that. I would love that, dude. Oh, my God. Tim Allen on the show?
Just as classic Michigan as it gets. Tim Allen, Bob Seger.
Anytime I can pull attention to the word honky, I'm doing it. It's one of my favorite things out. I might put that on a shirt, just later honkies, and just wear it around. I like it. All right, so we'll be back. Oh, man. We'll try to do a pregame show tomorrow. We're going to be cold. There's going to be some people out there. We'll see. We are 100% doing one after the game at Wolverine State Brewing Company. That's our plan. We're going to set up. Chris has a spot picked out. It worked really well for him.
It was great. Great.
There you go. Everybody, thank you so much for putting up with whatever that was for over an hour.
Phenomenal content.
We'll be back tomorrow. Everybody enjoy the game. We'll see you.